One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that controlling behavior always looks loud, aggressive, or obvious. In reality, people who fear losing control often reveal themselves through repeated behavioral patterns rather than dramatic actions. Psychology suggests that control is rarely about power alone. More often, it is about managing uncertainty, protecting insecurity, or avoiding emotional vulnerability. Here are 7 behavioral patterns psychology tells us to pay attention to. 1. They need the final word. One common behavior is the constant need to have the last word in every discussion. From a psychological perspective, this is often less about proving a point and more about preserving psychological control. Ending the conversation on their own terms allows them to feel that they remain in charge of the situation. Emotionally, this behavior can reflect discomfort with uncertainty. Leaving disagreements unresolved may feel threatening because it means accepting that another perspective exists beyond their control. This reveals a mindset that equates agreement with safety and disagreement with instability. 2. They constantly correct small details. Some people interrupt conversations just to correct tiny facts, wording, or insignificant details. While accuracy can be valuable, the repeated need to correct others often serves a psychological purpose. It creates a subtle power imbalance where one person becomes the authority while others become the learners. Emotionally, this behavior may reduce feelings of insecurity. By reinforcing a sense of competence and superiority, it reveals a mindset that seeks confidence through control rather than through genuine self-assurance. 3. They become uncomfortable when plans change. Notice how some individuals become unusually frustrated when even minor plans change. Psychology explains that predictable environments reduce anxiety. Unexpected changes introduce uncertainty, and uncertainty can create feelings of helplessness. For someone who fears losing control, flexibility feels emotionally risky because it removes the ability to anticipate every outcome. This reveals a mindset that depends heavily on certainty to maintain emotional balance. 4. They frequently tell others what they should do. Another behavioral pattern is offering constant advice, even when no one asks for it. Helping others is healthy, but continuously directing other people's choices can become a subtle form of control. Psychologically, influencing someone else's decisions can provide a sense of stability and importance. If others follow their guidance, they feel more secure in their own position. Emotionally, this behavior often reflects difficulty trusting that people can manage life without their involvement. It reveals a mindset that feels responsible for controlling outcomes instead of accepting unpredictability. 5. They react poorly to being ignored. People who fear losing control often become unusually sensitive when messages go unanswered or attention shifts elsewhere. The issue is not always the delay itself. It is the loss of influence over the interaction. Psychology suggests that attention creates a feeling of connection and predictability. When attention disappears, uncertainty increases, triggering emotional discomfort. This reveals a mindset that measures security through constant feedback from others. 6. They struggle to admit mistakes. Admitting mistakes requires accepting temporary vulnerability. For someone who fears losing control, acknowledging an error can feel like giving away status or authority. Instead of accepting responsibility, they may justify their behavior, shift blame, or focus on external circumstances. Emotionally, this protects self-image from perceived threats. It reveals a mindset where being correct feels more important than learning or growing. 7. They monitor other people's reactions constantly. One of the most overlooked behaviors is carefully watching how others respond to everything they say or do. They pay close attention to facial expressions, tone of voice, response times, and subtle emotional signals. Psychologically, this constant monitoring helps them predict situations before they become unpredictable. Emotionally, it reflects a desire to prevent rejection, criticism, or unexpected conflict. This reveals a mindset that values emotional control so strongly that it becomes difficult to relax in ordinary social interactions. When you look at these 7 behaviors together, a larger psychological pattern begins to emerge. The fear of losing control is rarely about controlling other people alone. More often, it reflects an attempt to manage inner uncertainty, emotional discomfort, or the possibility of vulnerability. Understanding these patterns does not mean judging people. It means recognizing that repeated behaviors often communicate emotions more honestly than words ever can. The more we understand human behavior, the easier it becomes to recognize hidden motivations, protect our emotional boundaries, and respond with greater emotional intelligence instead of reacting automatically. If this helped you understand people on a deeper level, subscribe for more psychology content.